We're surrounded by this alphabet soup of acronyms, right? They're on our bank statements, popping up in news headlines, pretty much everywhere. Well, today, we're going to decode 30 of the most essential ones to help make your world just a little bit clearer. So, have you ever been scrolling through something online or reading the news and you just hit a wall of capital letters? GST, PAN, ISRO? It seriously feels like you need a secret decoder ring sometimes, doesn't it? Well, guess what? We're about to crack that code together. Let's jump right in. All right, first up, your personal wallet. We're talking about the acronyms that manage your money and your identity. These are the big ones, the ones that really guard your finances and basically prove you are who you say you are. Okay, let's start with the basics we use all the time. You've got your ATM, right? The automated teller machine. And to get any cash out, you need your PIN, your personal identification number. Simple enough. But what about when your bank asks you to complete your KYC? That stands for Know Your Customer. And it's actually super important. It's how banks verify you're really you, which helps stop fraud. You can think of it as their security guard, really. And building on that, if you've ever taken out a loan for a car or house, you definitely know about your EMI, the equated monthly installment. Then there's your PAN, the permanent account number, which is essential for pretty much any big financial transaction, and, of course, taxes. And behind the Aadhaar card, the bedrock of identity for so many of us, is the UIDAI. That's the Unique Identification Authority of India. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. From our own wallets to the entire nation's economy. These next few are the ones you're always hearing about on the news, the ones that get economists all fired up. So how do we even know if a country's economy is doing well? Well, the big one everyone talks about is GDP, or gross domestic product. It's basically the total value of everything a country makes and sells. And when that number is going up, it tends to attract FDI. That's foreign direct investment. But it's not all about money. We also look at BPL, which stands for below poverty line. This is a really critical way to see who in the country needs the most help and support. Now, who's in charge of this whole economic orchestra? Well, that would be the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India. You can think of them as the bank for all the other banks. They're the ones who control our currency, manage how much money is out there, and set the big financial rules. They're pretty much the financial guardians of the whole country. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of how our modern economy actually works. Anytime you buy something, you're dealing with GST, the goods and services tax. But have you ever wondered how all that money zips around? Well, for your day-to-day transfers, there's NEFT. For the really big, urgent stuff, there's RTGS. And the magic code that makes all of this online banking possible, that's the IFSC code. Honestly, you can think of all of these as the essential plumbing that keeps our digital economy flowing. Okay, we've talked about money. Now let's talk about how the country is actually run. This next part is all about the abbreviations of government, law, and order. This is one that trips people up sometimes, but it's super important for understanding our democracy. You've got your MP, the Member of Parliament. They're the ones representing you on the national stage in New Delhi. Then you have your MLA, the Member of Legislative Assembly, who represents you at the state level. So think of it this way. One makes laws for the whole country. The other makes laws just for your state. It's a simple difference, but a really vital one. Okay, let's talk law and order. When something goes wrong, the whole process usually kicks off with an FIR, a first information report. That's what gets a police investigation started. Now, for the really big, high-profile cases that cross state lines, you'll hear about the CBI stepping in. That's the Central Bureau of Investigation. And then, at the local government level, a really key player is the SDM, the subdivisional magistrate, who has a lot of administrative and judicial power. So you might wonder, who are the people actually running this giant machine we call the government day to day? Well, that's where the civil services come in. You've got the IAS, the Indian Administrative Service, who are basically the top-level administrators and policymakers. Then there's the IPS, the Indian Police Service, who lead the police forces. And representing India on the world stage, we have the IFS, the Indian Foreign Service, our diplomats. These three are truly the backbone of the country's administration. All right, let's switch gears a little and look at organizations, both big and small. From massive corporations to local charities, you'll find acronyms defining who's in charge and what they do. In the business world, two titles you hear all the time are CEO and CFO. The CEO, or Chief Executive Officer, is the boss, the one who calls the shots. And right there with them is the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, who's in charge of all the money. Now, on the flip side, in the social sector, you have NGOs, or non-governmental organizations. These are the amazing nonprofits out there doing incredible work for all sorts of important causes. Okay, for our last section, let's think bigger. We're going beyond borders. These are the acronyms you'll see on the national and global stage, the ones pushing the limits of science and bringing countries together. When we talk about reaching for the stars, literally 2 names come to mind. Here at home, we have the incredible ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, our world-class space agency doing amazing things. And of course, there's its famous American counterpart, NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. You're looking at 2 true giants of space exploration right there. And finally, let's look at the global stage. You've got the UN, the United Nations, which is the big table where all the countries come together to cooperate. And under that huge umbrella, you have really important groups like the WHO, the World Health Organization, which looks after global health, and UNESCO, which is all about protecting the world's amazing cultural sites and heritage. And there you have it. 30 acronyms that hopefully aren't so mysterious anymore. It's kind of wild when you think about it. From your personal bank account all the way to outer space, these little collections of letters really do shape our world. And it makes you wonder, right? With everything changing so fast, what's going to be the next big acronym that we all have to learn? Definitely something to think about.